Dear Diary, this is the Cranium Report from Commander Cranium. Now, those of you who know me at all know that I am on the cutting edge of most things I do. I am not interested in repeating the past. I'm not interested in doing what other people do. I'm interested in innovation in all fields, whether it's guitar playing. I tune my guitar in ways that no other musician tunes it. I use different techniques that no other musician uses. I do things with effects pedals that no other musician does. My bass playing, my drumming, do things that no other person does. Because if I'm going to do something that somebody else does, I'm going to not do it. If I don't want my shit to sound like other people. I'm only interested in innovating. I will never play a G chord, ever, because 50 trillion people did it before me. Innovation is the most important thing in life. Oh, wait a second, pausing. Oh, and it's that way with everything I do. Law, my legal arguments are revolutionary, cutting edge. They're all legally sound, but our legal system, as you know, is thoroughly corrupt and politicized. It has almost nothing to do with the law. And we know this because every day judges overturn other judges, which is scandalous. We treat it like it's no big deal, but it's scandalous that every day judges are proven to not know about the law by other judges. What an abortion. The nicest thing you can say about our legal system is it is a super abortion shot out of a cannon. Right? You know how many Supreme Court decisions are 5-4? Think about that. That's when there's a decision that's 5-4. People should be rioting in the streets because it says our laws are apparently written so ambiguously that 4 judges in the highest court came to the opposing viewpoint of what the law means to the other 5. And most of those decisions shouldn't be allowed anyhow, even when it's a 5-4 decision in favor of something I believe in. That's scandalous. I don't think a Supreme Court decision should be allowed unless it's 6-3 or 7-2 or 8-1. When it's 5-4, that's scandalous no matter which way the decision goes, because what they're saying is one person, whoever was that swing voter who made it between 4-4, one person was the tiebreaker. Our entire legal system is based on one individual who is that swing voter. That clearly violates all parts of the Constitution of the United States of America. You can't have one person controlling the entire nation, but that's essentially what we have here. Right? If it's an 8-1 decision by the Supreme Court, you can say, all right, I have confidence in that decision because right-wingers and left-wingers agreed. When it's 5-4 and it's based solely on politics, then that's insane. That's the judges. That depends on who stole which elections and how many people retired from the Supreme Court and were replaced with either right-wing or left-wing judges. That's not the way to run a country. That's not even legal. You can't do that. There's supposed to be no politics in our court system, and we can prove any time of the day that it's almost all politics. It has nothing to do with law, right? I mean, look at how many. It's not like you can look at Scalia's entire history and say, well, on half the cases he's conservative, and half the cases he's liberal. You'd look at it and go, he's conservative in every one of his decisions. That's how you know he's politicized. Dig it? It's corrupt. It's not legal. The problem is the only way to stop those super Nazis is to get the legislative branch to make some serious dramatic changes, which will never happen. So we're fuck out of luck. Nazi Germany is going to stand strong unless England, France, and a few other giant nations come and kill our politicians. And that's not going to happen. We're Nazi Germany without anyone coming to the rescue of the Jews or Poland or Belgium, etc. Do you understand it? If the Nazis had no opponents, would they have taken over the world? Absolutely. America is the big boy and has no one standing up to us. You saw it, the whole world, every time they saw Bush imitating Hitler, every time the whole world went, we better shut our mouths because we're scared. So I'm giving you this whole preface to lead up to my diary about the shocking news I got today. Not that shocking, but we just got one blow against us in our first revolutionary RICO lawsuit against the corporate media and some other scumbags. Now, it's not that much of a surprise because, again, we know the courts are corrupt. Remember, it's not open to debate All sides, all conservatives, all liberals agree our legal system doesn't work. It's broken, it's corrupt, it's politicized. Everyone agrees. There's no debating it. Example, was it 97, I think? A judge appointed by the alleged defendant, right? All right, so right there, the judge is already a federal criminal. She is the referee in a case where she was appointed and owes her job and her pension to the alleged victim. Super legal. She had to recuse herself. She didn't because she's like most judges, a criminal. Now remember, before I was born, you knew that every judge on earth was a criminal. They have to be. We all agree. Power corrupts. We all agree that judges have almost absolute power, so therefore most judges have to be almost absolutely corrupt. And they are. You see it every minute of every day. And then they tilted it even more. Since that time, Giuliani and Bloomberg have appointed only ex-prosecutors to be judges, which tilted the scales of justice towards guilty until proven innocent. Completely lawless. Don't get me started. And we know I'm one of the best lawyers in the world because my track record is better than almost any lawyer on earth. I mean, in housing court, I beat housing court lawyers. I don't even know that much about the laws, and still I kick their fucking clocks over and over again. Took one landlord for $20,000. I took one landlord for $6,000, okay? I have a proven track record. The first 15 arrests against me by the NYPD and DA Morgenthau, I beat them 15 out of 15 times. They'll say, well, you got lucky. Nope. Well, maybe I hired the best lawyers. Nope. I had shitty public defenders who didn't give a fuck about my case. I can go on and on and on, but no one can dispute it. I'm one of the best lawyers in the country. I have proven my own lawyers wrong thousands of times. I'll give you one example right now, which I've diarized elsewhere. 1997, Judge Judy Leavitt, scumbag criminal. She was already a criminal before she fucked me over. She was already proven to not know about law before she fucked me over. So you understand? She should have been in prison before I ever encountered her. But judges say they have absolute immunity. And even if they break the constitutional laws and all the rules and all of our guarantees in the Bill of Rights, they cannot be punished in any way. That's their argument. I argue that violates the 14th Amendment's equal protection. What the fuck is that? Wait. Arg. Sorry about that. That was an interruption of piano. In C minor. Just kidding. I don't follow the majors, the minors. I don't see what the alphabet has to do with rock. So, Judge Leavitt found me one day, psychopath, follow that video. That video is the one about how I went to jail for wearing a t-shirt. I went to jail for using 2 middle fingers in a demonstration about the limits of free speech and for agreeing with the judge, but I did it in German. Those 3 things, I went to jail for 30 days. Only did 17 days, and it later proved that I was completely right and all the judges were wrong. Imagine that. The judge said I was guilty of summary contempt. It was plain as day that I wasn't. And it was insane to begin with. The judge's argument was, you committed a crime against me, so I'm going to be the judge and jury and executioner. Well, that's not, if you know anything about the Magna Carta or every concept of fucking fairness and due process, you can't have that, right? If you're in divorce court with your wife, the judge can't be your wife's dad. That would be corrupt. You can't, the victim can't be the judge. If I do something to a judge, that judge can't be the judge then. That judge has to recuse themselves because they're the victim. And an unrelated judge or jury would have to decide whether I violated a law against that judge. You see, the judge can't be their own judge, right? Would you let the Yankees be all the umpires too? Well, they're going to call every single shot in their favor. It's completely corrupt. It's completely illegal. But our legal system is completely illegal. But who's going to do something about it? Huh? Who? Barack Obama? Who's going to stand up to the Nazis? The answer is nobody, except maybe me and a couple other people. So, now, remember, Judge Leavitt found me guilty of summary contempt. Even the judge's own lawyer from Spitzer's office when he was Attorney General told us in the hallway the judge clearly broke the law. My lawyer at the time, Michelle Hauser, piece of shit, 18B lawyer, said, you are guilty. And I said, are you stupid? You don't know the law at all? That can't be summary contempt. Look up the law. And my lawyer said I was guilty. The judge said I was guilty. Off to jail. My lawyer didn't even fight to help me. That's complete federal crime. But again, who's going to stick up for the federal laws? Who's going to stick up for the Constitution? The Department of Justice? What are you, fucking high? Nobody gives a fuck about the Constitution, even the people who pretend to. So that judge said I was guilty, even though I was clearly not guilty. Then another judge reaffirmed it, both, of course, appointed by the alleged victim, Rudy Giuliani and his team, so that's corrupt. Totally corrupt on its face. And again, my lawyer said I was guilty. My civil attorney, Michael O'Neill, who was actually a pretty good guy, he, thank God, he filed free of charge an appeal because my lawyer wouldn't do her job, violating federal law. And the 5 judges, now this isn't open to debate, 5 judges in the appeals court, meaning they were way above City Hall's head, didn't have to worry about a little tyrant named Rudy Giuliani or losing their pensions or any of that. They weren't appointed by him, didn't have any connections to him. They were independent. They were a lawful legal body. All 5 appeal judges unanimously said I was right, and the 2 judges were wrong, and my lawyer was wrong. Not bad. Now, remember, no one can debate that. All history has to say, Christopher knew the law better than judges and lawyers. That's not open to debate. That's a matter of public record. And in all my cases, I proved the judge is wrong and my lawyer's wrong. But most of those are still pending. So, and who knows if I'll ever get my day in court. Because our legal system is political, right? Remember, George Bush isn't going to appoint federal judges who stand up to politicians. He's going to appoint the fucking scummiest, sleaziest, most party line operatives to be federal judges. And the Democrats are also not going to appoint, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, are not going to appoint judges in federal court, lifetime appointment, who stand up against government. Do you see the catch-22 there? It's corrupt to begin with. They're appointing. Why would you allow the executive branch? Why would you allow the executive branch and the legislative branch to appoint the judges whose job is to police the legislative branch and the executive branch? That right there is unconstitutional. They tell you you have 3 branches of government that acts as checks and balances. Well, the minute 2 of those branches get to appoint the branch that exists to police them, the judicial branch, the Constitution has just been rendered completely worthless. Do you not see that? You can't allow. We should make federal judges all elected, like they are in many other places. Civil court judges are elected. Now, to be fair, elected judges are almost as corrupt as appointed judges. I mean, everything about the process is corrupt. Our elections are garbage. It's all corrupt. That's the thing. That's the trick with the super Nazi Germany called America, is you give people lots of choices, and you make sure every one of those choices is fake. So the people, the sheeple, think they have some freedom and choices. It's much more insidious than just not giving them the right to vote. You see? Your country is more corrupt than any nation in human history. Never mind that we're the only nation to nuke people, etc., etc., etc. Never mind that we systemically slaughtered fucking Indian, Native Americans like Nazi Germany's wet dream, or that we enslaved black people for 300 million years. Again, Nazi Germany's wet dream. Nazi Germany were a bunch of fucking amateurs. America, we're the real deal. And we're not the only country that's 10 times worse than Nazi Germany, but we are the #1 Nazi Germany in recorded history. If you don't believe me, let's debate it sometime in public, okay? Stop believing the hype. Even your lying government admits, okay, yes, we did systemically commit ethnic cleansing against the Native Americans, but we never call it in the media ethnic cleansing, right? When was the last time you saw any Jews or non-Jews in the media call it ethnic cleansing? They haven't. When did they call it a Holocaust? Really, the systemic slaughter of a native people, and you don't call that a Holocaust. Could someone explain that to me? But I'm digressing. America is super Nazi Germany. I hate to break the news to you because I love what America stands for, but it never, ever existed. I have a song called Imaginary Nation. Nary is in parentheses, like imagination, imaginary nation. Nary meaning no fucking way. There was never America. America never existed. It was always an urban legend and it was a fucking Potemkin village. Look that up. It was fucking the Wizard of Oz. Not real. It was the man behind the curtain. Example, everyone agrees. They tried to make George Washington king. There goes all the fucking lies and myths about how America was supposed to be a new democracy for the people, of the people. Wrong. They tried to make George Washington king. There was never any intent to make this country honest or decent. Never. All fucking self-preservation, lies, all propaganda bullshit, 10 times worse than what the Nazis spewed. I can go on and on and on, right? I mean, the Founding Fathers said, all men are created equal. Well, we mean men who are white. Or we know they couldn't free the slaves. It's a land of equality and freedom. They couldn't free the slaves. Yeah, right. It's all lies. We're lucky that people like Jefferson and Franklin and Adams had a little bit of liberalism in them and did some good. Having freedom of speech, even though it's a lie, is better than not, sometimes. So I'm still going on and on, sorry, as we lead up to a judge's decision today that fucked me over. Now, fucked you over, fucked the world over. Now, it's not the final judgment, but it's like round one. Round one, the Nazis have won. Not that big a surprise. They usually do win round one. They have all the advantages. It's like cheating. You better fucking win round one. You guys can cheat everything. And remember, I usually always win in the end, but I have to go through the flames of hell for years and years and years and years and years to win. And it looks like I'm going to have to fucking do that here. Although this is more daring than a lot of my other efforts and legal efforts. But in the past, I've had also some people helping me. This time, all my lawyers, Ron Kuby, all of them sold me out. Norman Siegel apparently has sold me out completely for the last year. Remember that. We all agree, unanimously, I've proven judges wrong on the law over and over again. I've proven lawyers wrong on the law over and over again, and I did it again today. Now, in a nutshell here, I told you all that one of the things I'm doing that's maybe never been done in American history is I'm suing the corporate media under RICO racketeering statutes. That's what they usually use against the mafia, but it's not written exclusively for the mafia. It's any crime organization, any crime syndicate. Could you prove that the police department is a crime syndicate? That would take 2 to 3 minutes. Could you prove that our government is a crime syndicate? Can you prove that politicians lie? I can. Can you prove that they gained money from those lies? We all can. And can you prove that it was organized? We all can. That's RICO. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Again, here's the catch-22. To use RICO, you've got to get judges who are appointed by these organized crime godfathers to side with the law. How the fuck? That's going to be a pretty tricky battle, isn't it? And when I filed it, I said, let's pray I don't get a Bush-appointed judge, because it's all politics. I have to get a judge who's very brave and very honest, and there's not many of them. Because remember, I'm taking on the most powerful media in human history. I'm taking on a force that is more powerful than all the world's armies times 1,000, maybe times 1,000,000. Because the media controls where we have wars, when we have wars. The media controls everything. They get to decide who's going to be president. The media gets to control everything. That's why the billionaires created media in the first place, to control everything. Right? They can tomorrow write articles in all the newspapers about iPad. iPad is the greatest thing ever, even if the iPad is a piece of shit. But if they get money from Apple, and advertising from Apple, it would be in their best interest to say that iPads are great, because the more money Apple makes, the more money the news media makes. You see, it's all racketeering. They're all in bed together. It's not remotely honest. And most people would never even fight back. Everyone knows the media is corrupt. The media has admitted it was invented to be corrupt. I mean, none of this is a secret. But who is going to take on the most powerful criminals in human history? The soup, right? Most people wouldn't even take on the Gaudis. I'm taking on a force that is literally 6 trillion times more powerful than the Gaudis. Okay? Keep that in mind. But I got to give it a try, even though it could potentially ruin my life. Well, I wish they'd whack me, but they're not going to. So today in federal court, I filed my lawsuit about a month ago. This is lawsuit 1 on RICO. We're trying about 4 or 5 RICO lawsuits in different categories, different things. Today I filed 2 more RICO lawsuits against the NYPD. I'm saying they're a crime syndicate. The district attorney's offices that I've dealt with. I'm saying they're a crime syndicate, and I can prove their crimes. I can prove they committed numerous crimes. I can prove they committed them systemically. I can prove that it fucking destroyed my entire life, etc., etc., etc. I'm suing the Department of Justice because they look the other way at crimes committed by their friends. and the politically connected. I'm suing, I mean, the lawsuits are comprehensive as fuck. And that's what makes the judge's decision today even more bizarre and stinky. It doesn't pass any smell test. So only a month ago, I filed a lawsuit, and I was waiting for a judge to be assigned. And I went down today, filed my 2 RICO lawsuits. One's against the media. One today was against the police, the DAs, the mayor, etc. I can prove they committed crimes in an organized manner. I can prove those crimes destroyed my life, made me homeless, stole my life savings, yada, 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 yada. I can prove it all. Just give me my date. And unless I get a sleazy judge, and then I'm fuck out of luck. And the sleazy judge is. Then, the second lawsuit was, I'm filing for all the dozens of arrests in the 1990s and early aughts that have expired under 1983 civil rights laws. You know, when they violate your civil rights, you can sue, but you only get 4-year window to sue them. Now, they did so many different things to me and kept arresting me. How can you file a lawsuit when you're in jail, and when you keep going to jail, when you keep getting your life destroyed, when you have to keep looking for a place to live? You understand? They can easily fuck somebody's life up until the statute of limitations expires in 4 years. It's not hard to do. They have unlimited funds and an army of 35,000 men with guns, and they run all the DA's offices. They control and appoint all the judges. I mean, the whole system is dirty. But, oh shit, I might have to make this 2 parts. I think I am going to make it 2 parts, because wait do you see some of what the judge did today. So the second lawsuit I filed today, which is number 2 and number 3, RICO suits, I'm suing on behalf of all, there's no statute of limitations on RICO. And I can prove that everything they did to me in the 90s and the early aughts, all those arrests, and I won all those arrests, remember. And I could have sued then, but I couldn't because of a lot of different reasons, like them rearresting me, trying to find a lawyer's hard, not knowing my rights, being too young, blah, 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 blah. And then the deadlines pass. So that was another lawsuit today. It's not really as daring as I make it sound. It's only daring in that nobody ever did it before. But it's not daring in that everything I say is completely legally sound, etc., etc., etc. But, again, the legal system is as political as the other 2 branches and as dirty as the other 2 branches. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes it's a roll of the dice. Sometimes it's pure chance. Remember, I've told you, even there's been times when judges have agreed with me and I've said the judge is wrong. So, you know I'm honest and fair. We're going to do a part 2 where I get into what the judge did to me today. What the chief federal judge of the Southern District of New York. Her name is Loretta Preska. Loretta Preska. And her decision today, insane, illegal, but more importantly, corrupt on its face. End of part 1 of the Cranium Report.